What's up, everybody? I'm Chris Dailey, founder of the Sports Court, joined here by a college football star, quarterback of Coastal Carolina, and a Sun Belt Conference winner, Grayson "Mullet Man" McCall. So, Grayson, thank you so much for joining the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Yeah. My pleasure. And growing up, you were a big football fan. You would always watch NFL Network. I know your mom always talked about that. You wouldn't watch cartoons. You'd watch NFL old games. And you also played with older kids, as your brother is 10 years older than you. However, you're not just a big football guy. You're a big baseball guy playing in a televised youth game in Cooperstown. So when was the moment you decided you want to attack football 100% and really put the other sports aside?
Yeah, like you said, I was big into baseball. Also played basketball coming up, but whenever I went into high school, I kind of just decided to stop playing baseball. You know, the different arm slots and stuff like that. I didn't really want to mess up my throwing motion, so I dropped baseball and I got into high school. Still played basketball in the off season, just try to stay in shape and stay active in the off season. So whenever I got into high school, I kind of started to really focus in on football and so, yeah, freshman year, and then we just went from there.
Yeah, well, you did pretty well for yourself because as a freshman, you got injured and you didn't see many minutes. And then as a sophomore, you take over the team and you guys have unprecedented success. However, this wasn't an easy ride. You guys had to play against teams such as Sun Valley, who had Sam Howell on their team. Sam Howell and you, both college football stars. He's over at UNC now. So what was those battles like with Sam? And do you guys, by any chance, keep in touch?
Yeah, Sam's obviously a great player. I've been playing against Sam since 7th grade, actually. So it's a 5-minute drive, from his school to my school. So we're always rivals in high school. It was always, a good battle. Yeah, me and Sam do still stay in touch. We train with the same guy and we're at home. So we in high school there was this made up beef, just because we're rivals. But we're actually pretty close and we stay in touch. So, yeah, Sam's a good guy. And, he's going to have another big year this year.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And in high school, you had a great career. Threw for over 3,800 yards, 34 touchdowns, and ran for another 3,041 touchdowns. Despite those amazing stats, you were ranked the 2,889th best player in the class and weren't really heavily recruited by any big-name programs. So I have two questions for you. One, what was your recruiting process like, and can you describe that to me? And two, what made you choose Coastal? I know Will McDonald went to your high school. He's there now, but what made you choose them?
Yeah, like you said, the recruiting process was actually relatively slow for me in high school. We were in the triple option in high school, so I didn't really throw the ball that much. So a lot of schools, they wanted to see me throw it more. They didn't think I could really spin it like that at the college level. So, yeah, I got a bunch of, small FCS offers, and then Coastal was my first or second FBS offer I finally got, and me being from Charlotte, I'm used to going to Myrtle Beach on vacation, stuff like that. So, when I went down there for the camp, the coach told me throw. They offered me, and then I went back down there for an official. Fell in love with the place, the coaches, what they do, the offense they run. So, honestly, it was relatively an easy decision for me because I feel like that was my best offer and the best place for me to go. And then, speaking of Will, I actually committed first and then was trying to get it was Coach Covington was offensive line coach at the time. I was in Coach Cov's ear because Will's my guy, trying to get him over there. So they finally offered Will, and he was actually committed to Charleston Southern, but 2 days later he decommitted and committed to Coastal. So we were actually roommates and stuff freshman year, so it was definitely pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty sick, and playing with your best friend. Yeah. So you decided to redshirt in 2019, and when 2020 came around, there was a lot of uncertainty about the role of the starting quarterback position at Coastal. And I read all the articles. Your name wasn't really featured in any of them, and I know you love to shut the haters up. So you got the starting role week 1 in a game against Kansas. You tossed for 3 touchdowns, again, throwing it. So and you got the W. However, that was not the main headline. The main headline was you rocking a new mullet. So I heard you talk about it on the Jim Rome show about the origins of the mullet, but can you go over that story and what made you get one?
Yeah, so actually my freshman year, some of the guys wore the mullet, but obviously it didn't go nationwide like it did this year because we weren't, winning games, so we weren't a big story my freshman year. So it was actually the week I was named the starter. I was named the starter like 4 or 5 days before the Kansas game. So, like, we're preparing for Kansas, like, weekly practice, building up for the team. And I still don't know I'm the starting quarterback. So I finally get the call I'm the starting quarterback. And, Teddy, Gallagher, and Silas, and those guys that are already rocking the mullet, they call me. They're like, dude, if you're going to be the starting quarterback, like, you have to wear a mullet. And so, actually, I run down to Great Clips like 2 days before we make the trip, and whenever I get the cut, it's not really a mullet then, but now it's long, it's crazy long. So I think I got it going now, but yeah, it was pretty short at first, but it's funny. I'm thinking I'm gonna have to rock it again this year. So
yeah,
it should be another fun one.
Yeah, the Mormons versus Mullets, that put Coastal really on the map, and I always see those guys on my TikTok For You page. I seen you on my TikTok For You page, but I always see Teddy on my For You page, and I give him a follow, and yeah, it's pretty great.
That's funny.
Yeah, so by the time Week 5 comes around, Coastal is 4-0. You guys just got into the top 25 poll and came off of a big win against Louisiana Raging Cajuns. So obviously every time before the season, everyone has high hopes. But during the season, when was the moment you guys said, hey, we are doing really good, we have this great thing going, we could do great things and possibly find ourselves at a top bowl game?
Yeah, so obviously, I think it starts when we go to Kansas because, that's the first time we get to see our team. We can see what we can really do. But then, after we get that win, it's like, all right, we just beat Kansas on the road. Okay, maybe not that big of a win. And, we come back and we keep working. And then I think really the game that turned the page for us was that Louisiana game. When we go up there on a Wednesday night, we play, they're top 25 in the country, and they're supposed to be really good. Not to mention they came to our place last year and beat us by 40 under the lights on ESPN. So, that was a big game for us. We go there, we beat a ranked opponent at night. And, I think that's really when our team, came together and was like, dude, we can really do this thing. Like, we just beat the best team in the conference. So, I think that was definitely, like, the turning point for us.
Yeah, and I think that game was on national television because that was the first game. I think I saw a game before, but that was the first game I watched, sat down and watched from start to finish of Coastal, and I was just really impressed with the whole program there. I made a few posts about it, and then a few weeks later, obviously that game against BYU really propelled you guys into the national stardom that you guys managed to get. And prior to that, in these past questions, you mentioned your coach Jamie Chadwell, and he played quarterback at East Tennessee. So, what does Coach Chadwell mean to you for what he's helped you do to progress into this collegiate stardom? And when's Coach Chadwell going to get his mullet?
Coach Chadwell and Coach Corn, my quarterback coach, they've done a lot for me since I've been there. Whenever I got out of high school and got there, I thought I knew a lot about the quarterback position and reading defenses and stuff like that. But when I got there and sat down with them, every day on the board and in the film room, I've learned a tremendous amount since I've been there. And Coach Chadwell's actually started his mullet. He finally got the sides cut and stuff like that. He doesn't have curly hair, so it's like really straight in the back. So I think we're gonna need to get him a perm or something. But yeah, he has started it, so now we just got to get him to keep it until it gets pretty long. He said his wife's already yelling at him to cut it, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, if you guys have another good season, I don't think she should. I think he should definitely get it. So perhaps the biggest game of the year was one I mentioned, the game against BYU, Mormons versus Mullets, because after Liberty had to cancel, you and BYU were both left without games. So in a thrilling back-and-forth game, you guys beat Zach Wilson, who's the number 2 pick, and BYU. Firstly, how did you prepare for this game with such little time? And secondly, can you describe the atmosphere of that game? Because even with limited capacity, I'm sure that felt like a packed house.
Yeah, so definitely a crazy week, the BYU week. So I think the Liberty game, we find out we're not going to play that either Tuesday night or sometime on Wednesday. And then you see a bunch of stuff on Twitter like Coastal isn't playing, BYU's not playing, let's see if we can get them a game, blah, blah, blah. I see it all over Twitter where I'm like, no way, we're really going to schedule this game with 2 days left. And then we get to the facilities on Thursday, and Coach talks to us. He's like, yeah, like what you're saying, I guess their AD called our AD. He's like, yeah, like BYU's coming down to play us. And so we have 2 days to prepare for them. And then, obviously it's on College game day, so our coaches did a great job trying to get us prepared for the game. We had to break down all the film and get a game plan going in 2 days. And then So after that, and then we're on college game day, and like dream come true. You go to Coastal Carolina, you play in the Sun Belt. You don't typically get a chance to play on college game day. So yeah, it was definitely crazy. Like you said, it was limited capacity, but definitely the loudest game of the season. People going nuts. That's the game everyone talks about. So it's definitely super fun to play in. We'll never forget that one. So hopefully we can get another one of those this year.
Yeah, and I'm a huge Notre Dame fan, so I watched that Notre Dame Clemson game, which is crazy too. When the fans stormed the field, I have a picture of Rudy back there. So it was that game.
Really?
Yeah, it was that game and the game of Coastal BYU, the two of the best football games I've ever watched. Because you just sit down and play by play, something happens, and it was just great. And Zach he's going to the Jets. He's a top 2 pick, and the fact you beat them, that's just absolutely huge.
Yep, no doubt.
Yeah, so after a close game against Troy, you guys unfortunately lost to Liberty in a heartbreaking overtime loss at the Cure Bowl. But despite the loss, you finished 12th in the country and won the Sun Belt. So after being favored to finish last at the beginning of the year in all these big name articles, so how does it feel to shut all these critics up and win a trophy that you were never really supposed to win?
Yeah, it's honestly kind of funny that we were picked last. The past 2 seasons before this, we were 5 and 6. We didn't do too well in the conference. But yeah, it's just kind of funny that we just get picked last. Until this year, we really didn't have any respect, no matter who we beat, no matter what we did. So, we kind of just, no one expected us to do this. So it's funny that, we knew we could come out and do it, and we did it, and it's definitely feels good now. We got a ring to show for it now, so that's definitely cool and stuff like that. So, it's just we got to keep building off of it and have another great year this year.
Yeah, and speaking of that, because you had this amazing year, and after a really unexpected year, according to many, so only the guys that could have predicted this year were you and the guys in the locker room. So, what are your expectations on a personal and a team standpoint for next season?
Yeah, we definitely have big goals. Last year we were kind of snubbed that we didn't get the NY6 spot in the bowl. Cincy obviously got it over us, but that's our main goal this year to obviously take care of the conference first. That's our main goal, and then if the Shants go undefeated again and win the Sun Belt and don't get a NY6 bid, then we can't control that, but that's what we're hoping for. Another thing that's really big for us is just focusing on us and trying not to listen to all the outside noise. There's going to be a lot of expectations. I'm seeing stuff that has this some dude yesterday came out with a poll that we're the top 10 best team in the country coming back. Some people have us in the 20s, whatever. We have a lot of expectations we need to fill, but really we're just going to focus on ourselves and take it game by game, do the same thing we did last year, and I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, definitely. And I wrote an article about that because I have a website as well for this. And I wrote an article about Coastal deserving a NY6 game, and just really was upset that didn't happen. But, next year, obviously, now if you have another good season, definitely. Because I know Cincinnati, they had a bunch of good seasons in a row, and then eventually the committee finally said, okay, we're going to give it to them. And one last question that just popped up in my brain, Coastal plays on Teal turf, which you don't see. I see that Boise State, the blue one, but you really only see green. So, as a freshman, was it tough for you to transition onto that? Does it really make a difference playing on different colored turf?
No, I really don't think it makes a difference. I definitely think it's cool. I feel like we have the coolest field in the country, so it's definitely cool. We get to practice on that thing every day, and no, I don't really think it makes a difference. You're just out there playing football. You don't really, pay attention to the turf. But yeah, I definitely think it's cool. I'm glad that that's where I get to play. So I definitely enjoy being out there.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm just going to show you something real quick before I get into the last question.
Okay.
On Instagram, in October, I actually wrote something about you, about Coastal Carolina as a whole. Yeah, here it is. I know my phone's it's a glare, but it was October 22nd, and I just credit to you for what you've done, like I said in the beginning before we even did this interview. So now I have a few rapid-fire questions for you, and can get this done.
Alrighty.
Yeah, who's the funniest guy on the team?
The funniest guy on the team. I'm gonna have to go with Trey Carter. He's our right guard. I'm gonna have to go with Trey Carter.
Yeah, what's your go-to snack on the road?
Go-to snack on the road. Let's see, dude. We have these we have like trail mix on deck always in the locker room.
Yeah,
and dude, I'm a big trail mix. I'm a big trail mix guy, but like some days I don't like the raisins for some reason. So you'll see me dump the whole bag in my hand and like pick out the raisins, and then I'll eat like the M&Ms and everything else. But yeah, big trail mix guy.
Yeah, what's your favorite song? Favorite
song right now? Let's see. I can't give you a favorite song. I'll give you a favorite artist. I've been listening to a lot of Rod Wave right now. Our D-line and some of our defensive coaches put me on some Rod Wave, so I've been listening to him a lot right
now. What's your favorite NFL player of all time? Or who's your favorite player?
Favorite NFL player of all time? I'm a Panthers fan, so let's see. I was a huge Steve Smith guy growing up.
I met Steve Smith. NFL Network.
Yeah.
He was doing that at the Giants.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Good guy at the Giants.
And then let's see. Our 2015 year when we were really good and went to the Super Bowl. Cam was obviously a dog. The year he won the MVP. So I would say Steve Smith. Yeah, I would say Steve Smith.
And what's one hobby of yours outside of football?
I like hooping, I like playing a little basketball, but I enjoy fishing a lot. So me and my dad and me and my brother, we'll go out and go fishing. So I enjoy doing things like that.
Yeah, and lastly, in 3 words, describe yourself.
3 words to describe myself. Let's go. I'll go competitive, determined, and let's see. I'll go humorous. I think I'm a funny guy.
Well,
I think I got a couple jokes on the sleeve.
Yeah. So definitely. I mean, if you're the leader of the team, and just thank you for this interview. I had a great time talking to you, and I've had a great time watching this whole season, and I can't wait for next year, and hopefully Coastal can get in one of those big New Year's 6 games. So thanks again, Grayson, and just wish you all the best with everything.
Yeah, man, no problem. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.